You know, it can be quite tricky determining whether or not if your heifers are open or closed. And we're joined now by our extension beef cattle specialist, Dr. Rosslyn Biggs, to find out exactly how to determine whether or not you have a pregnant heifer or not. So what are some pregnancy testing options that producers have available to them?
We really have three main options, either palpation with ultrasound, or blood testing are our three main options for pregnancy testing.
So why is it important to know whether, why does that matter?
Well, you know, the intense part of breeding is getting that cow or heifer pregnant, right? And we want to know as soon as we possibly can, understanding that there are challenges of handling cattle and getting the labor all gathered up. But if we don't know whether or not she's pregnant and we potentially feed her right now through the winter while she's not pregnant, then we're leaving money on the table. We would be much better to come up with a different option for her, whether that is to move her to a different breeding season internally within the operation or potentially market her.
And I'm sure that that cost can be compounded if you have more heifers out in the field that you're trying to get pregnant.
Absolutely, and especially on those heifers, we want them to get pregnant early, and that way they calve early and can come back and get pregnant again. So if we have a defined breeding season and those heifers are not getting pregnant, they really need to be looking for a new job in the future rather than stay within the herd.
And given all the struggles and challenges that Oklahoma producers have been facing these past couple months, I'm sure obviously they don't want to add any more issues onto their production.
Right. You know, we've been in we're just getting rain today, of course.
As you can tell, we're all got soaked.
But we're looking at having to put out the hay, having to put out the feed. Our forage reserves are more limited than they have been in many areas of the state. And so we don't need to be feeding something if she's not going to be making us money.
And this is obviously something that I think, working with your local veterinarian would be really important, right?
With the options, there's not a perfect fit necessarily for every operation. And so producers need to have a discussion with their veterinarian because there's pluses and minuses to each one, and you need an option that fits your operation.
So walk us through some of those pregnancy testing options, and what are the positives and negatives of those?
Sure. Palpation is kind of the standard. It's been here. It does take a high degree of skill, and the thing about it is that once we sleeve that heifer or cow, we know right then and there where she's in the chute whether she's pregnant or not, as long as we have a skilled person performing that palpation. The challenges with that is, again, you have to have the skill to do it, and you have to have someone that is available during the time that the cows can be worked. With ultrasound, we can learn earlier whether that cow or heifer is pregnant. Again, takes a lot of skill and a lot of time to do that. And within Oklahoma, there are only certain individuals, licensed and certified individuals, that should be doing that. And so then finally we have blood testing, which for many producers may be a good option. However, we're not going to know instantly. Even if we do use the chute side test, there's generally a 15 to 20 minute time frame, so we're going to have to handle those cattle again, or you can potentially send that test to the laboratory. And so again, as we mentioned, discussing which option works best with your veterinarian is really the way to go, and it can be customized for each individual operation.
All righty, thanks, Rosslyn. Dr. Rosslyn Biggs, OSU Extension beef cattle specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And if you'd like some more information on how to preg check your cattle, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.